What I bought? A new Blink Mini 2K Plus smart security camera. What I got? 2K clarity sharp enough to see every detail of home when I'm away. Plus audio like I'm in the room, not with my bestie traveling to another city. Plus easy plug-in setup to install faster than skipping through podcast ads. But you'd never skip ads, right? Plus, I got all of this for just $49.99. Blink Mini 2K Plus. Mini camera, max performance. Shop now at amazon.com/blink.
What really makes the biggest difference in how we age? A brand new survey just revealed some very surprising answers. Hi everyone, I'm Barbara, and this is Age Better. My guest today is Gretel Schueller, Managing Editor of Health at U.S. News and World Report. She's here to share new findings from their just-released Healthy Aging Survey. Gretel has been on the show a few times, and she always has new and actionable information to share with us. In this episode, we'll talk about the habits that matter most, the mistakes that can really age us faster, and some fascinating trends that experts are watching. If you've ever wondered where to focus your energy to live not just longer, but better, you really want to listen in. Okay, everyone, get ready to age better. Hey, Gretel, welcome back to Age Better.
Thank you so much again for having me. I always enjoy speaking with you, Barbara.
I know, it's so much fun. I mean, you've been on a few times already, and I have to say your episodes are always crowd pleasers. So I'm sure this one will be again. We're talking about something that just ran recently, actually, in U.S. News and World Report, and it's a survey. I love surveys, especially when you have so many medical experts convening and giving their input, which is what you did. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Right. So it's a question we think about a lot. We know life expectancy continues to increase, but that doesn't always sort of translate into a good quality of life. And so here at U.S. News, we kind of asked the question, we wanted to find out, well, if we're all living longer, what can we do to ensure that we're also living well? And so that our golden years are healthy and active.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a panel that we've built over the years of about 100 experts, and it includes medical doctors and oncologists, cardiologists, internists, psychiatrists. The panel also includes registered dietitians, pharmacists, as well as fitness experts. And these are all like certified authorities in their field of expertise. And typically they review our content and help us with our best diets ranking, some of them. So we figured, why not ask these people, what are the most important habits to help ensure that we're aging well in the best ways possible? So over the summer, we sent out a survey to them, basically asking them about the top habits and trends for healthy aging.
So you really asked some incredible questions, and I really enjoyed reading it. And of course, everyone, there will be a link in the show notes so you can read more about it, get more detail. But when you looked at the results, what stood out as the single most important daily habit that we can all be doing? So as you said, to really kind of add better years to the years that we have, expand our health span.
Exactly.
What is it?
So we asked a series of questions, and one of the questions we asked our health experts was, what is the top personal habit that they do on a daily basis to improve or for healthy aging? What do they do? So we figure we might as well follow what the experts are doing.
Like, what would you do?
So nearly half, 49%, cited physical activity as their top daily habit.
Mm-hmm.
That was followed by number two, very closely at 43%, following a healthy diet.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of these are earth-shattering. But then we also asked our experts, we gave them 18 options as well as an open-ended response. What are the top three most important factors overall for healthy aging? And here too, it's sort of repeated the same ideas. The answers were similar. Number one was healthy diet at 47%, closely followed by regular exercise at 40%.
Yeah, not surprised.
Diet and exercise, not huge surprise. Yeah.
And as I always say, and in fact, the chapter on fitness and exercise in my last book was all roads lead to fitness, because I really believe that is true. and again. And you're right, it's not surprising, but it's so good and so important, I think, to have the support. Like, okay, so that's really the case then. So I better start thinking about what I eat. By the way, one of the episodes that you and I did not too long ago was about eating and the Mediterranean diet and other ways. Again, an article that was in U.S. News and World Report. And I'm going to put a link to that as well, because if you didn't hear that one, you really should.
Right.
So we know about the diet and exercise. Let's talk about sleep for a minute. We didn't from very long. We did not give sleep enough credit. And now we are giving it so much credit. In fact, I've seen a couple of articles recently around about how we're losing sleep because we're trying to get enough sleep and we're not getting enough sleep. So we're losing sleep over it. I mean, it's really pretty funny. So
in fact, yeah,
it ranked a bit lower than expected, certainly than what I would have expected. So walk us through that information based on the survey, please.
right. I mean, there's no doubt all of us are struggling to get quality sleep, and there's every single gadget in the universe out there to sort of help us with getting quality sleep. So I think it's definitely recognized as important. And while diet and physical activity sort of did a big clean sweep of the top two most important factors for healthy aging, I don't think that diminishes the importance of sleep, because quality sleep still did rank third on the question where we asked what are the top three factors for healthy aging. It just had a smaller percentage. And keep in mind, too, the survey participants had 18 choices to pick from. So it still came out at number 3. So that's
right. That's
not
right.
Yeah.
It wasn't too far down on the list.
Right. And similarly, when we asked them about their own personal top daily habit, it too was at number 3. We asked, it was nurturing the mind-body connection, which included getting quality sleep, having good social connections, and practicing things like mindfulness and meditation. So again, sleep factored predominantly there as well. And then last but not least, when we asked them about the top healthy aging mistakes, and here there were 21 options to pick from, as well as a fill-in-the-blank option. Poor sleep hygiene came in at number 3. So again, it does play, I mean, if you want to think about the 3 foundational pillars of healthy aging: diet, sleep, and exercise, or exercise, diet, and sleep.
Good to know that sleep is still up there, because I really put a lot of focus on getting quality sleep, and with my Oura Ring telling me when I have and when I haven't. It's so great. So getting back to the mistakes that we can make, according to the survey, that could speed up aging prematurely. Right. So what was like the number one mistake that many of us make?
Right. So what's good to know is that these all seem to support each other, the answers here. And so number one most damaging mistake people make is lack of regular exercise. So which fits in with the picture that we're seeing. And if you think about it, I mean, we live in a very sedentary, friendly lifestyle. I mean, I sit 8+ hours at this desk, and, I have to remind myself and take effort to get up and move. And so there's plenty of studies and research that document that extended periods of sitting, are detrimental to your health. And it's everything from small things like increased constipation, reduced circulation, negatively impacting mental health. But it also moves to the bigger things too, like increased risk of heart disease, stroke, other cardiovascular health issues, obesity, bone strength and muscle mass, osteoporosis. I mean, there isn't much that being sedentary doesn't have an effect on. So just as regular physical activity comes with a plethora of benefits, not being active also comes with a wide variety of health risks and problems. So physical activity has a whole body effect, both mental and physical.
It also helps with sleep, as we were just talking about.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, I know I have much better sleep when I've been very physically active. And also being physically active, I mean, sure, we want to have a regular kind of little bit of a high intensity activity going as often as possible, every day if possible, certainly several times a week, but also just moving, right, Gretel? Just like getting up, like after we're done recording, I'm planning on getting up and doing just a couple of push-ups. I mean, why not? I'm just going to go and do them. A couple of squats, walk up and down a little bit, then come back to my desk. I mean, it's like this constant all-day moving that I think is very doable. And it's also really very helpful, I think, in keeping us aging better. Right. So on the flip side, Were there habits that your experts talked about that we assume are really very important for healthy aging and aging better and increasing our health span, but really weren't that high on the list, like the top
Right.
3 that you just mentioned?
Yeah, so we asked that question as well, and I think this was actually one of the most interesting questions in terms of the answers.
Mm-hmm.
We talk a lot about screen time and social media and kind of the detrimental effects it has, obviously for more obvious things like mental health, but also the fact that you tend to be a couch potato when you sort of sink into the screen or the social media. And so reducing social media use was identified as the least important factor to healthy aging out of the choices that we offered. And there were 21 plus people could write in their own. And minimizing screen time, similar at 43%. Now, when I say that, I want to remind us, social media and screen use definitely play an important factor in negatively affecting mental health. So we don't want to diminish the importance of those things, but they aren't major drivers of healthy aging. I think the one that's going to surprise the most people is what came in as number 2 as the least important factor, and that was taking supplements, because I think probably we are all guilty of like having a whole slew of different supplements that we take in the belief that it's helping condition X or Y or Z. And I think the good take-home message from this is you can take all the supplements in the world, but there's still not going to be a replacement for a healthy diet.
But there is one supplement that really still is sort of important to take, right? What do you think?
Yes.
What is it?
Good point. So we did ask the participants as well, if there was a supplement they had to pick that plays a big role in healthy aging. The one that was a clear winner was vitamin D. And people probably know a lot about like the connections to immunity or mental health or bone health when it comes to vitamin D. But more and more recently, there's been studies coming out show its particular role in healthy aging, and specifically in telomere length, which is sort of a sign of our telomeres get shorter and shorter as we age. They're little bits in the cell, keep it simple. And there's been some not insignificant research to show that vitamin D could help maintain the telomere length in our cells.
Oh, I'm a big, big, big believer in vitamin D, and I take personally 5,000 a day. And my numbers, I get them checked every year at my annual physical to make sure that they're maintained. They do, as you mentioned, they do help with bone health. They help to absorb the calcium more effectively. There's so much good about vitamin D. So I encourage everyone to check that and talk with your healthcare provider too, if you haven't yet taken vitamin D supplementation on. And you're right. I mean, I think that this country is over supplemented. And it's an unregulated industry too. Really is. So it's a little scary out there. I mean, I just saw some articles running around today, I'm sure you did too, this morning, about how protein powder has, not all, of course, some of them have high levels of lead.
Yeah.
And once in a while, well, maybe that's not so terrible, but if taken consistently, as many people do, that can be harmful. So you just don't know. You just don't know. And be careful with supplements, everyone. But let's talk about the social aspect of healthy aging and aging better. That is a super duper important thing for me. I've had quite a few episodes focusing on this. In fact, one that just aired recently, a wonderful person named Ken Stern, and I'll put it in the show notes, everyone, if you didn't catch it. Just 2 weeks ago, Ken Stern came out with a new book called Healthy at 100 or Healthy Until 100. I think I got that title right. But he is the former CEO of NPR, and he switched gears. And now this is what he does. He focuses on longevity and works with the Stanford Center on Longevity. So he's, really has quite a group around him and supporting his work. And but that's what his book is all about. It's not about the physical. It's not about the mental. It's about the social, what he calls social health, that has to be right up there with physical health and mental health.
Right.
And you mentioned social media and, screen time. And these can sometimes help with that socialization, especially if you're not able to be out in real life with people for whatever the reason is. But really, the flip side is more true. where it can kind of stop people from physically being together. Now that COVID's over, we can all more easily be physically together. And it's just very fascinating to me. And of course, there's also that ongoing study about happiness that started, 50 years ago, I think, if
several
not more.
decades.
Gretel,
Yeah.
you know about this, right?
Yeah.
And that is, again, probably the number one most important reason why there's longevity in certain people.
Right.
So,
No,
so
those are all
what did your survey show about
those
social?
are all really good points. So what we did is we asked an open-ended question and what the most noteworthy scientific or clinical insights were when it comes to healthy aging. And the social connection really came out on top. And I think you're right. I think it's a Harvard study, the one that's been following people, the happiness study
That's right.
for decades, has recognized, friendships and social connections are important. The Mediterranean diet, which we've consistently ranked number one, a big element of healthy eating is also eating with a group and it being part of a social event. But I think it's also worth noting that it wasn't until 2023 that the U.S. Surgeon General identified loneliness as an actual epidemic. And so I think while we always kind of knew it was good for us, that it's beneficial, I think finding a way to connect loneliness and social isolation, which is increasing, especially not just among senior populations, but among teenagers as well, that there's a clear health connection between loneliness and social isolation and your health.
Yes.
And so I do think there's more studies growing around that. And I think it also supports when you want to eat healthier, exercise more, whatever, it always helps to do it with a support group or a friend. You'll find that you just get better. I mean, studies have supported this, that you'll get better results if you do it with a group or with a friend. So I think, again, these ideas sort of support each other.
Yeah, it's just so incredibly important. And one of the quotes that I took from the episode when I was promoting the episode on social media was loneliness is like equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, it literally has a physical impact on you.
Oh, yeah.
It's just mind-boggling. So I'm glad you did talk about that. Let's talk about gut health. I also find that very interesting, the microbiome. We call that the second brain. The microbiome really is connected to so many things around our body. So talk to us about what the survey said about gut health.
Right. So this was sort of the number two area of research that our experts pointed to. And I mean, we've heard plenty, as you said, about the microbiome and how it's connected to various health issues. Having an unbalanced microbiome can lead to systemic inflammation, which in turn can cause chronic disease. But it's important to remember, just naturally through the aging process, everybody, regardless of who they are or what they're doing, our stomach microbiome tends to decrease in terms of both diversity and then also change in terms of its bacterial makeup. And typically those changes will cause increased frailty and other health issues. And so anything that you can do to support a healthy gut microbiome, eating fermented foods, eating lots of fiber, again, goes back to, a healthy, diverse diet with whole foods. Anything you can do to help maintain the health of your gut microbiome and stop it from either decreasing in its diversity or changing its makeup as you age, because that's going to happen no matter what.
Yes.
Is a win-win. So, yeah.
That's right. Really, really good lesson. And it's not so hard to do, really. Fiber is a really important aspect of that. You mentioned it. And we did talk about it, Gretel, you and I, in a previous episode.
Right.
And fiber, just do this, everyone. Just have a cup of beans every day.
Right.
Right? I mean, it's that simple.
It is that simple.
It really is. I mean, you could just do that and you're kind of good to go.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something also. I mean, I love all of these topics, every single one of them, the gut health, everything, but strength training.
Yeah.
So important. We know to age better, you need to maintain your strength, your muscle mass, and your bone density as best as you can. If you do nothing, those will deteriorate. They just will. Like, you're not super person. You're not superwoman. They will get weaker and thinner. They just will. So talk about what the survey said and what your expert said about strength training.
Right. So this was the other big area that our experts deemed as important, and that was a resistance and strength training,
Yes.
which is the way to build up muscle. And to your point, what you said is we all will naturally, our muscle mass decreases with age. It's just a thing that happens. So whatever you can do to decrease the rate at which it decreases, or at least maintain what you have. And how do you do that? Resistance training and strength training. And again, this doesn't mean you have to lift power weights at the gym. It could be simple things. Even walking to some degree is a form of strength training. So you don't have to feel intimidated that it means going to the gym and lifting heavy weights. It could be, resistance bands at home on your doorknob or something like that.
That's right. Yeah, I'm glad they really put an emphasis on strength training, resistance training.
Right. And so I think also, and it's important to remember that one of the key reasons older adults lose their sense of or lose their independence is loss of mobility. And loss of mobility is directly connected to, in part at least, to loss of muscle mass because it becomes harder to get around and do things.
Right. And I also just want to add to that while it's so important to keep your upper body strength and muscles, it really is, so that you can lift things, you can lift your grandkids, if that's, or your little dog, or whatever it is.
Right.
Or if you happen to fall, that, well, hopefully you don't try to break the fall with your arm. That's a whole nother, I think I want to have an episode on how to fall properly so that you don't break anything. But anyway, but really to be truly mobile and independent, as Gretel, as you were just saying, is you have to really also focus on your lower body, everything below the belly button, because that's what's going to allow you to sit and stand from a chair, climb those stairs, walk.
Right.
Think just walking. You will need that strength, that muscle mass, and again, hopefully some bone density.
Yeah.
The goal, by the way, this is my own personal goal I'd like to share, is at this point, I do have low bone density. I've known that since I turned 50. I'm 68 now. I've maintained it. That to me is such a win.
True. Yeah.
That I have been I took action at 50. And that is a big win for me. Like I haven't lost. Now, I haven't gained, but that's okay at this age. That's really good.
Well,
and that's what I think, right?
Is preventing loss. It's not so much about gaining, but preventing loss. And to your point, it isn't just muscle, but bone loss too, bone mass. So yeah.
Yeah, they're all tied together. So super important resistance training. And you're right, even walking. But if you can do a little bit more, like maybe there's something that I love, and it's called the farmer's walk. The farmer carry, where you take a weight or something heavy, but the same amount in each hand, get your posture right, make everything kind of tight, like your core tight, and walk with your arms down. So you're adding weight to your walk. I mean, it's like a whole body toning, building muscle mass exercise. Yeah. Really, it's amazing, like the plank too. Anyway, I could go on and on about that farmer's carry, but I will not. So let's talk about the future and also some things that we already have, like the wearables. We both held up our fingers with our Oura Ring. I also have on my Apple Watch. I mean, what else can I buy to measure myself?
Right.
I think it's really fun. But, that is something that we have, and how we can use that information to benefit our health and well-being by maybe saying, I'm not getting enough steps, or my sleep wasn't that good. Maybe I shouldn't have that glass of wine so close to bed, and so on and so forth. So Gretel, tell us about that. What did your experts say about things like that?
Yeah. So our final question for our experts was basically to identify what they thought the next big thing in healthy aging research was going to be. And so there were three choices that came out at top. The top one was AI-mediated healthcare. And to some degree, even the Oura Ring has some elements of that, because it'll take your data and then turn it into usable action that you can take. Now, a lot of this AI we know is transforming the healthcare industry. It's still early days. There's nothing sort of concrete at this point, but it is, helping improve, or in the works of helping improve patient care, but most importantly, diagnostics and treatments. And I think that's where we're going to see, more changes. But again, very early days for a lot of this. But the other one is the personal health monitoring devices. So like the Oura Ring, like the Fitbit, like the watches, like GPL, not
The
GPL,
glucose
glucose
monitor
monitoring
thing, right?
devices that monitor
Yeah.
in real time, not just
Mm-hmm.
for people with diabetes anymore. And a lot of these give back data in real time. So I think there's actionable advice that we can get from that. And then the last but not least was GLP-1 medications, because we're beginning to see that they probably can help for more than just weight loss. But I think what the sort of big take home message here is, there's a lot of excitement about these technologies to help us, but it's really about we're going to be getting a lot of data from them and then be able to make sort of data driven smart decisions based on the information, AI, or whether it's the Oura Ring or whatever it might be, that's collecting this data and then being able to make smart, actionable decisions based on it.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think we're living
Yeah,
in a very exciting time when it
for
comes to
sure.
things like this. So thank you for that. And I really love the survey. Again, everyone, there'll be a link to it and the article in the show notes. So please do check it out. And before I let you go, Gretel, I always ask, of
I knew you
course,
were.
you can't leave until you answer. What are your 3 biggest takeaways?
So I knew you were going to ask that. So I think number one is healthy aging is holistic, and these are simple, basic lifestyle choices, right? That we have to make. These aren't big, massive changes. So healthy diet, physical activity, and sleep. Start tweaking. You don't have to do something vast overnight. These are basic things where a few tweaks in your lifestyle can make a big difference down the road. And these are like elemental: sleep, food, and movement.
Yes.
Number two is, I think, again, to this point, you don't need to run a marathon or go to the gym every day for an hour, right? This is about breaking up prolonged periods of inactivity. So whether you're sitting at the desk or sitting in front of a screen on the TV, like just reminding yourself to get up and go for a walk around the block. It can be simple things. You don't need to be intimidated by feeling you have to make this massive, big change. And then last but not three, I think we all have a tendency to get caught up in supplements and vitamins. And, I'm guilty of this myself. I have a shelf full of all sorts of things based on the latest research, and you get excited about it. But just to remember that vitamins and supplements are not a substitute for healthy eating. You want to take some vitamin D or some other vitamin that you think is important, that's fine. But just remember they're not a substitute to eat good or eat well.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Gretel. And I know that you will be back.
Thanks, Barbara. Thanks so much. I enjoyed speaking with you.
And thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Talk to you next week. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode of Age Better Podcast, please do a few things. First, share it with all your friends and family. Then, subscribe to Age Better wherever you listen to podcasts, including YouTube, so you never miss a single episode. Finally, if you have ideas for topics you want me to cover in a future episode of Age Better, send an email to agebetterpodcast@gmail.com or reach out to me on social media. Until next time, remember this: we can't control getting older, but we can control how we do it. Talk to you soon. Age Better Podcast is a proud member of the Sound Advice Network. Sound Advice, women's voices amplified.